Good day everyone. Welcome to our microbiology and parasitology class. In this afternoon, before we formally start our lesson or our new topic, let's have a short prayer.
Please bow your heads and let us pray. Dear Jesus, please show me how to spend this day sharing your love in every way. Help me to be kind to everyone, to play and love and have lots of fun, shining your light and giving your grace, sharing your joy with a smile on my face. Angel of God, my guardian dear, to whom God's love commits me here. Ever this day be at my side, to light and guard, to rule and guide. Amen.
Amen. So, in this afternoon, of course, before we officially start our another lesson in our subject, which is microbiology in parasitology class, let's have a short introduction first. But of course, may I know how are you today, my dear students? I hope that all of you are in a good condition. So now, in this afternoon, of course, may I introduce myself first. I am Teacher Cherry and I will be your facilitator and guider in today's lesson. Alright, so before, of course, like what I said earlier, before we start, okay, this topic we were going to discuss, I want you to lean your ears and your eyes because this topic is very important to know, especially in our life. Because this topic we were going to discuss in this afternoon is very vital, not only for one person, but for all of us. Alright, but of course, but before that, before we proceed to our discussion in this afternoon, I want you to watch a video or a short video rather regarding our topic so that you will be able to know or you will have background knowledge about our topic for today. So later on, after the video you will going to watch, I will ask you a question. So be prepared. At the same time, take down notes all the important information that you will be na maririnig nyo in the video. At the same time, at the end of our lesson in this afternoon, you will be having a summative test to test if you learned something in our topic in this afternoon. Are we clear? So, let's watch the video I prepared.
And in this video, we're going to be talking about the ABO system of blood grouping. So the ABO system involves 4 potential blood types, and they are determined by the presence or absence of antigen A or antigen B. The 4 blood group types are A, B, AB, and O. Those who have blood group A, this group of people have antigen A present in the blood and anti-B antibodies. Group B, this group has antigen B present in the blood and anti-A antibodies. Group AB have both antigen A and antigen B present and no associated antibodies. Group O have no antigens present in the blood but have anti-A and anti-B antibodies. Blood type O is the most common blood type in the world. The way to determine your blood type is with an experiment called agglutination. Agglutination means the collection of several particles joining together in a mass. The way that agglutination determines your blood type is when we add a specific antigen to its corresponding antibody. They will clump together and form a mass, in the process called agglutination. So if we mixed antigen A with anti-A antibody, there will be agglutination. Here's how we do the experiment. We need a sample of red blood cells and we need an antiserum, which is what contains the anti-A and anti-B antibodies. So there is antiserum A, which contains anti-A antibodies, and antiserum B, which contains anti-B antibodies. We put antiserum A on one side of a glass tile, and antiserum B on the other side. We add a sample of blood which is rich in red blood cells to each side to mix with the corresponding antiserum. If there is agglutination present, it can usually just be seen with the naked eye, but via a microscope we can specifically see clumping together of the red blood cells. To interpret the results, if we see agglutination on the antiserum A side only, that means in order for that to happen, the sample must contain antigen A, so the blood type is A. If agglutination happens on the antiserum B side, the sample must contain antigen B, so the blood type is B. If agglutination happens on the antiserum A and B side, the sample contains both antigen A and antigen B, so the blood type is AB. If agglutination doesn't occur on either side, the sample doesn't contain antigen A or antigen B, so it's blood type O.
Alright, so that is the video all about. So now, I will going to ask you a question regarding the video you watched. So what is the video all about? Of course, the video all about, it is all about the ABO blood group system, wherein it will allow you, or it will help you to determine what kind of blood you have. Okay. So but before that, I want you to understand very well what the video is all about. So now, I will discuss you this table for your better understanding. At the same time, later on, you will not be having a hard time understanding our lesson. So here, in this table, we have four groups. We're in Group A, Group B, Group AB, and Group O. Wherein this group, will tell you what kind of bloods do you have. Okay, now let's go here in the first column. Wherein it says here your red blood cell type or your blood type, which is the blood type A, B, AB, and O. So here, as you can see, we have an antibodies here that are present in our blood, where specifically you can find those antibodies in our plasma, wherein this plasma is the liquid part of our blood that carries nutrients and waste throughout our body. So now, here, as you can see, if you have a blood type A, your antibodies will be anti-B or antibody B. Alright? If you have a blood type B, then is your antibody will be antibodies A. Wherein, as you can see, if you notice, it is vice versa. Or if you have an A blood, of course your antibody will be B. If you have a B blood type, of course your antibody will be A blood type. What is the implication of this? Bakit nga ba ganon? Bakit magkaiba yung type ng blood natin doon sa antibody that we have in our blood? Of course, because these antibodies, later on, you will be able to understand more about what is the reason behind why we have a different types of antibodies and antigen in our blood rather. Okay. Next, we have an AB. Type AB blood and doesn't have an antibodies. So later on, you will know the reason behind it. At the same time, we have a last group of blood, which is the group O, or the type O blood, which is, as you can see, this type of and B. It is a combination of antibody A and antibody B. Next, in a last row, okay, we have here an antigens in our red blood cell because this antigen is located in our outermost layer of our blood or in the surface of our blood. Okay? Now, this antigen is, as you can see, kung ang blood type mo ay A, your antigens will A also. Okay? If you have a blood type B, your antigen will be B also. So, it same or corresponding lang, it is correspond to what type of blood do you have to your antigen. Okay, later on, of course, this chart, okay, madidiscuss natin yan. At the same time, this agglutination process, later on, I will be discussing to you furthermore. Okay? Are we clear? So now, let's proceed to our lesson. Okay, so our lesson in this afternoon, okay, is blood group antigen. So remember, in the video I showed to you or I prepared to you to watch it is meron tayo antibodies also. But for now, of course, in this afternoon, let us discuss first what is our, which is in the last row, which is the antigens. Okay, we will discuss first the blood group antigens in our blood. Okay, so here in our lesson, we have 3 objectives. So here, at the end of the lesson, students will be able to first, okay, differentiate the types of blood. Second, okay, determine how important the blood in our life. And lastly, understand the process of agglutination reaction. So these are our objectives in our lesson in this afternoon. So but before that, of course, let us also have again another introduction to our topic. Okay, wherein we will talk first about blood. Okay, so when we say blood, as you can see, okay, we need this to keep us alive. Alright, so because blood, okay, as you can see, blood is very vital in every human being. Because this blood, alright, it brings oxygen and nutrients to all the parts of the body so they can keep working. So remember that blood is circulating throughout our body. And another thing is our blood is the one who carries and transfer those oxygen and nutrients that we needed. Alright. Next also is another thing about our blood, okay? It also fights infections and carries hormones around the body. So as you can see, this blood is very important, especially to fight those infections coming from the outside invaders in our environment. Not only in our environment, but also in our self also, or inside our body. Kasi nga those infection hindi lang aside from nakahawakan natin, natatouch, is na-inhale din natin siya at the same time nakakain din natin. So those food or those food drinks that we get in our environment may infect our body. So here, our blood will responsible for fighting those infections together with our immune system. Next. Alright. So also blood, it carries carbon dioxide and waste materials to the lungs, kidneys, and digestive system to be removed from the body because we all know that carbon dioxide is harmful in our health. That is why we need to ilabas natin yon. We need to Alright. So now we all know that always remember that blood is very vital in every human being because blood is a matter of life and death, especially in blood transfusion. Hindi mo basta-basta mabibigyan or hindi ka basta-basta makakapag-transfer ng blood to other person without knowing what kind of blood do you have. Alright? So always remember, blood is very important in our life because blood makes us alive. Alright, next. Aside from that, of course, before we proceed to the antigens that we will going to discuss later, let us know first who is Karl Landsteiner in our lesson. Because this Karl Landsteiner, alright, as you can see, this is Karl Landsteiner, which is the proponent of ABO system, wherein he is an Australian-American immunologist and pathologist, alright? Wherein, okay, he received the 1930 Nobel Prize Award, wherein, bakit siya nakakuha? Because as you notice, Nobel Prize, it is the highest award na matatanggap ng isang tao, especially if he create or he invented something that are very beneficial and that are contributed a lot in the field of science, especially here in microbiology and parasitology, because his work is all about ABO system. At the same time, he has made, okay, Karl Landsteiner made blood transfusion possible because dati kasi in the past wala kang blood transfusion. That is why maraming namamatay na mga tao dati kasi nga hindi pa na-invento, wala pang nakapagpatunay na pwede pala yung blood transfusion until such time that Karl Landsteiner, okay, he studied the ABO blood system wherein siya yung proponent niyan, okay? Matatawag din natin siyang father of ABO system because he is the one who discovered the different blood types of every people. And at the same time, blood transfusion, wherein ito na yon, in such time na nung dati wala pa pero ngayon meron na. Ito na yung ginagamit nila kapag syempre may nangangailangan ng dugo, okay, they undergo in the blood transfusion. Okay? So, that is Karl Landsteiner, the proponent of ABO blood system and also the blood transfusion. Okay, now let's proceed. Okay, as you can see in the picture, okay, we have different types of blood. However, the appearance of our blood is similar to one another. However, of course, we have a different types of blood. And yes, actually, we have 8 types of blood, wherein A plus, type AB plus, AB positive, or O positive, at the same time A negative, B negative, AB negative, and O negative. These are our different types of blood. Wherein, of course, we will be surprised to know again also that these types of blood will be determined by the complex protein that is situated in the outer layer of our cell membrane. In that case, we call it antigen. Alright. Okay, this antigen is responsible in our blood groupings. Kung ano nga ba yung blood type na meron tayo. Because this antigen is situated, okay, like what I said earlier, that it is situated at the outer layer. Okay, when we say outer layer, we also call it in the surface of our blood. Okay, of our cell membrane. So this is responsible, Okay, this antigen is responsible on what type of blood do we have. Alright, next, we have two types of antigen that are present in our blood. And that is, first we have antigen A and second, antigen B. So these are the two types of blood that are present in our blood. And remember, okay, this antigen will determine, okay, this is like what I said earlier, this antigen, okay, which is A and B, will be responsible on what type of blood do we have, okay. Now, this antigen, okay, this antigen will join force to the white blood cell in our blood, okay. Those antigen, as you can see, these are the antigen present in our blood. And here, this, as you can see, this is our white blood cells, wherein this antigen that we have in our blood will join force to these white blood cells. And later on, okay, this antigen in white blood cells will protect us from viruses, bacteria, and stop them from causing any infection in our body. Not only that, this antigen also will serve as identity tag for us, for our immune system to recognize, so that hindi niya i-attack kung ano man yung antibodies na meron sa atin. So that this antigen, okay, and this is our immune system, okay, will be the one who will accept this antigen, because this antigen that are situated in our outer layer of cell membrane will serve as identity tag, so that our blood will continue circulating throughout our body without any complication or without any problem, because this antigen will serve as identity tags in our body, or in the identity tags para ma-detect siya ng immune system natin, so that hindi niya i-attack, okay? Hindi niya atakihin, hindi niya kalabanin. Okay? One vital question in this lesson is, how do these antigens cause difference in our blood types? Okay? Ano nga ba? Ano nga ba nagkukos? Okay? Okay, what is the difference? Of course, first is the absence, presence, and combination of this antigen in our blood. Kasi nga, what is the difference? Sabi dyan, di ba? Ano nga ba yung pagkakaiba-iba ng blood types? Of course, it depends on the absence, presence, and combination of those antigen in our blood. Alright, for example, okay, one example is, if you have an antigen A plus you also have an antigen B, of course, your blood type will be AB. Okay, like what I said earlier, that it is either presence, absent, or combination of those two antigens in our blood. Okay, so here in this case, of course, in those case, in the first example, syempre, kung mapapansin nyo kasi dito in this case is parehong merong antigen A and antigen B yung blood ng isang tao. So that's why his or her blood type will be AB. Alright, another example. Alright, if you have antigen A situated on the outer layer of your cell membrane or in your blood, probably your blood type will be A, type A. Alright, another example. Have an antigen B in the surface of the blood. So, meaning this blood has a presence of antigen B. Of course, the blood type of this person is type B. Alright, so next, another example is, how about the absence of antigen in the blood? So probably, here as you can see in the picture, there is no antigen present in the blood. So basically, the type of blood of this person is type O blood. Okay? Because kasi nga, as what you watch in the video na kapag walang antigen na present in the blood, okay, in our red blood cells is their type of blood will be type O. Alright, next. Of course, we have another vital question in this lesson, wherein, how about the positive and the negative signs beside our blood groups? Because as you can see here in the picture, we have a positive A, negative A blood, and then B plus, and then so on and so forth. There is a positive and negative side beside our blood. Of course, that positive and negative signs of blood is responsible by another protein secreted in our blood, wherein that is the rhesus factor or Rh antigen present in our blood, wherein it is responsible for the negative and positive sign of our blood. Alright, so this rhesus factor or this antigen, Rh antigen, is an inherited protein. When we say inherited, namamana natin. Okay, ito yung namamana natin na protein that found on the surface of our red blood cells together with our antigen. Alright? Okay. Here, okay, this Rh antigen, of course, we have also two types, like the other one, which is our antigen. Of course, meron din tayo two types doon. And, of course, this Rh antigen or Rh factor also have an types wherein kapag wala, okay, or rather, kapag meron kang positive sign beside your blood, probably or basically, you are Rh positive. Kapag wala ka namang, okay, pag wala ka namang Rh factor secreted in the surface of your blood, of course, basically, you are Rh negative. Alright, so next. Okay, are we clear? Okay, next question or the third question in this lesson is, okay, why do blood types matter? Bakit nga ba? Bakit nga ba yung blood ng isang tao ay importante or why blood types matter? It is because of the blood transfusion. Like what I said earlier, okay, blood is very important, and when you will going to donate or you will going to donate your blood in other person, of course, it is a matter of life and death. Because kapag nagkamali ka, for example, the person that in need of blood is a type A positive and he or she, okay, naka-receive siya ng A negative, of course, maglalaban-laban kasi nga po, kapag A positive ka, kailangan yung blood type na i-receive mo is A positive only. Wala nang iba. Okay? Kapag B positive ka naman, also B. Kapag negative, negative lang. However, of course, there is an exemption. Okay, next. There is an exemption of our blood types wherein, okay, like what I said, there is an exemption like these two types of blood, which is the type AB and type O blood. Okay, for us to understand more, let's have an example. Okay, as you can see, this picture, okay, this man have an AB blood. Now, kinakailangan niya ng salinan ng dugo o kailangan niya mag-undergo ng blood transfusion. Okay, ang maganda dito, kapag AB positive ka, of course, any person that have an A blood type, B, AB or O blood type, pwede siyang mag mag-donate or pwede ka nang bigyan ng dugo. Okay? Kapag AB positive, positive lahat ang pwedeng makapag-donate sa'yo. Kahit it's either A, B, AB, or O blood type. And take note with this, okay? This AB blood type is the universal receiver. Why it's so? Bakit siya naging universal receiver? Kasi nga, as you can see here in the picture, the type AB blood receive any kind of blood type here. Okay? Kasi nga kung if you will remember, if you notice, AB, okay, wala siyang antibodies. Okay? However, meron siyang antigen, which is antigen A and antigen B. So meaning, kahit sino dito ang mag-donate sa kanya is okay lang. It is compatible pa rin siya. Okay? Okay. Basta always remember kapag AB type ka, AB ang blood type mo, you have a universal receiver. How about the type O blood? Okay? Here, another example. Type O blood. Okay. As you can see, wala na siyang antigen in Rh factor present in the outermost layer or the surface in the blood. So this is type O blood. Okay? Kasi nga kung mapapansin nyo, wala siyang antigen. Okay? Which is, sabi ko nga kanina, yung antigen is that is responsible for what type of blood you have. Kaso wala ito. So meaning kapag wala or absence of antigen, your blood type will be O. Now, take note again with this. Kung si AB, universal receiver siya, si type O naman is universal donor. Kasi nga po, wala siyang antigen pero meron siyang antibodies na A and B. Okay, wherein those antibodies is nag-help them to fight those infection na nakukuha natin sa environment natin or okay, yun nga, nakukuha natin sa environment natin. So, meaning, pwede siya mag-donate kahit sino. Mapa-A man niya, AB or B positive, of course, pwede niyang i-donate or pwede siyang magkaroon ng blood transfusion. Okay. Are we clear, my dear students? Okay. Next. Okay. So, let's go now to our another topic in this lesson. Of course, tapos na tayo sa blood group antigens. Alam na natin kung paano nga ba na-distinguish yung iba't ibang blood type natin. Of course, kapag sinabi natin antigen, ito yung mga nakikita in our surface of the blood, together with the Rh factor, which is, it is responsible for the positive and negative sign of each blood. Okay, tandaan niyo po yung dalawang yun because it is very vital, especially, kailangan natin habang maaga pa, okay, kailangan na natin alamin kung ano nga bang type of blood meron tayo. So that kapag nangailangan tayo ng kapag in times of needs, na kailangan natin ng salina ng dugo, of course, alam na natin. Especially kasi, ngayon kasi hindi ka naman basta-basta sa salina ng dugo. Of course, ititis pa yan ng mga doktor na mag-aasikaso sa iyo bago nila ibigay yung dugong kinakailangan mo. Kasi nga, it is a matter of life and death. And ikakamatay mo kapag once na mali yung naibigay sa'yo na blood. Okay, here is the consequence, of course. So, malalaman natin dito ano nga bang mangyayari. Okay, here, we have here the agglutination reaction. So, as you can see here in the gift, okay, there is a blood clumping wherein nagkadikit-dikit sila. Ano nga bang nangyari yun? So, here, malalaman natin yun. So now, let's discuss first what is agglutination reaction. Okay, when we say agglutination reaction, this is the process that occurs if an antigen is mixed with its corresponding antibody. antibody mo and si antigen mo na magkaparehas, okay, kapag ang antigen mo as A and ang antibody mo is A also, dyan nagkakaroon ng agglutination, nagkakaroon ng clumping. And mind you, kapag nagkaroon ng clumping, okay, nagkakaroon ng clog in our blood vessel, or meaning nabablock yung blood vessel natin. At the same time, yung circulation of nutrients and oxygen that are needed by our body is mai-stop din. Okay? Kasi once na nagkadikit-dikit, okay, kapag once na nagkadikit-dikit, yung mga blood natin, okay, those antigen and antibodies na present in our blood, okay, kapag once kasi nagkadikit-dikit yan, okay, di ba, alam naman natin that our blood contains hemoglobin, wherein that hemoglobin, okay, as a kind of protein that carries or that binds oxygen na kinakailangan natin. Wherein, yung hemoglobin na yun, once na nagkadikit-dikit yan, nagkaroon ng agglutination, that hemoglobins will become toxic. So, meaning kapag naging toxic, syempre, harmful na siya sa ating health. Kasi nga, once na nagkadikit-dikit yan, okay, which is the antigen and antibodies present in the blood, kapag nagkadikit-dikit yan, syempre, nagkadikit-dikit, o syempre, may process doon na kung saan syempre, mabablock yung daluyan ng yung mga blood vessels natin, yung circulation of nutrients. So, matitira, okay, mabubuo doon. So, once na nabubuo yun, pag hindi na kaya, mag-break yun. That is why, kung na kumakalat yung iba't ibang nakukuha natin sakit. Kasi nga po, blood is very vital. Kasi nga, kapag nagkaroon ng clogging, agglutination, there is a possibility that you will encounter a cycle cell anemia. At the same time, kapag hindi naagapan, of course, this is very fatal. Ikakamatay natin. It could lead you to death. Alright. Here in agglutination reaction, we have two types. Okay. So, the first type is the passive agglutination. Pag sinabi natin passive, walang nangyari. Kapag active agglutination, there is an active action. Okay, kapag active, alam nyo naman na yun, active, meron ng encounter, meron ng action na nangyari. Next. Okay. First, okay, as you can see here, okay, this is an example of one type of agglutination. As you can see, there is no agglutination occur here in the picture kasi nga kung mapapansin, this is our blood type natin yan, this is our original blood, this is our red blood cell, and here, this is our foreign blood na nakuha natin in the blood transfusion, and here is our antibodies. Here, yung mga maliliit yan na nakikita nyo, that is the antigen present in our blood. Now, kung makikita nyo, okay, there is no clumping. Hindi sila nagkadikit-dikit. Kasi nga po, the antigen and antibodies is different from one another. Meaning, they are compatible to one another kaya walang nangyaring agglutination. So, this process or this type of antigen is we call it passive agglutination. Kapag walang agglutination na nangyari, it is a passive agglutination. And another thing, kapag compatible si blood mo into foreign blood, syempre, compatible, so meaning walang agglutination. You are safe. Okay. Next, another type. Yes. So here, as you can see in the picture, there is an agglutination occur. Kasi nga po, kung mapapansin nyo, nagkadikit-dikit. Okay? Meron ng clumping. Those foreign blood type, okay? Yung foreign cells is hindi siya compatible, hindi siya tugma. They correspond each other with their antigen and antibody. So, meron ng clumping. Which is, sabi ko kanina sa inyo, dyan na nagkakaroon ng blockage ng circulation of nutrients and oxygen throughout our body. That is why nagkukos siya ng, yun na sabi ko sa inyo, cause blood clumping. Okay, nagkakasama-sama sila. So this clumping is very dangerous. natutukan, kung nagkamali ng bigay sa'yo ng blood, okay, nagkamali ka ng syempre, pwede kang mamatay. Okay, that is the worst situation you can live on. Okay, doon ka napupulutin, which is ikakamatay mo ito. Okay? Kasi nga yung hemoglobin that are present in our blood is nagiging toxic because of the clumping. Okay? Nagigets. So this agglutination is we call it active agglutination because there is an active clumping of those antigen and those antibodies and antigens of the foreign blood. Bakit nga ba nagkakaroon ng Siyempre, kadalasan kasi bakit nagkakaroon ng clumping? Because of blood transfusion also. Okay? Alright. Next. Those are the things that are nasakop ng lesson natin, which is first is yung blood group antigen. Okay? And the second one is agglutination reaction. Always remember, okay? Antigen is responsible for what type of blood do we have. Next, another thing is RH factor is another factor that are responsible for the negative and positive signs of our blood. Now, syempre, aside from that, syempre alam ko naman, I hope that all of you understand our lesson. Excuse me. And then another thing kasi, yung agglutination reaction, you need to understand it also. Kasi nga po, that is very vital, especially if you're having a blood transfusion. Wherein, sabi ko nga, it could lead to death. Okay? Kapag hindi mo naagapan yan. Okay, kailangan kapag magkakaroon ng blood transfusion, dapat i-test muna. And basically kasi, okay, yun naman ang ginagawa nila to avoid them. Alright, so as what I said a while ago, before we start, of course, we will be having an assessment. So I want you to bring up one sheet pad of paper and then a pen. Okay, I hope you are ready. So let's proceed to your assessment. So here, first, your assessment is composed of 3 parts, which is the first one is the knowledge, second one is the understanding, and the third one will be your psychomotor. So are you ready, class? Okay, I hope you are ready. So let's begin with your knowledge. Test 1 or your part 1 of your assessment, which is knowledge. So here, number 1. Okay, I will read the question twice only. And after all, you can read it also in our, here, flash in the screen. Okay, number 1. It carries nutrients and oxygen throughout our body. It carries nutrients and oxygen throughout our body. Alright, number 2. It is a complex protein situated at the outer layer of a cell membrane. It is a type, or it is a complex protein situated at the outer layer of our cell membrane. Alright, number 3 rather. Okay, this is an inherited protein found on the surface of our red blood cells. I repeat, this is an inherited protein found on the surface of our red blood cells. Alright, number 4. Okay, for your number 4, give the 2 types of antigen. Give the 2 types of antigen. Alright, number 5. For the last question in your knowledge part. Give the 2 types of rhesus factor. Give the 2 types of rhesus factor. Okay, let's now proceed to your understanding part. Okay, here in understanding part, I only provide 1 question wherein you will do an essay. So here is the question. Okay. Explain briefly and concisely the process of agglutination reaction and give an example. I repeat. Explain briefly and concisely the process of agglutination reaction and give an example. Alright. So that is for your understanding. Okay, for the last part of your assessment, which is the psychomotor, okay, I want you to draw the different types of bloods with its antigen and Rh factor. I repeat, draw the different types of blood with its antigen and Rh factor rather. Here, I want you to create your own representation of antigen and Rh factor. So nakadepende na sa inyo kung anong gagamitin yung shape to represent the antigen and Rh factor present in every blood type. Okay, are we clear? And I want you to be creative when it comes in doing your output here in your psychomotor skills. Are we clear? Alright. Now, if you are done, okay, if you are done doing your assessment, kindly send your output, kindly send your assessment in our Google Classroom. Alright? Are we clear? Okay, thank you. So now, of course, we are now done in our lesson, in our topic in this afternoon. So before we officially close our meeting, or we officially close our class for today, or in this afternoon, let's have a short prayer.
Please bow your heads and let us pray. Dear God, we thank you for this wonderful day, sharing your love with our teacher and classmates. Thank you for the strength and excellence you gave us to learn and understand our lessons. Thank you to our teachers, parents, and classmates who shared to us the joy of learning. Amen.
Amen. So that's the end of our lesson in this afternoon. So thank you everyone. Thank you for your cooperation. I hope you learned something in our discussion in this afternoon. And thank you for your cooperation. And thank you for your time listening in our topic. And so, to formally end our lesson, God bless everyone. Take good care of yourself and enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye, everyone.